The night was too quiet in Maplebrook, so quiet Anna could hear her own heartbeat as she unfolded the letter left on her doorstep with no name, no return address, just her own written in a trembling hand. The paper smelled like rain and distant roads, and as she opened it, a chill raced down her spine. The first line wasn't a greeting. It was a confession. Anna, if you're reading this, something has happened. Her breath caught. After a year of silence, Branna's words had finally returned, but not in the way she ever imagined. Anna Rivers always believed love was supposed to feel safe, like warm summer nights or the familiar rhythm of an old song. But the moment she met Branny Carter, she learned that love could also be wild, unpredictable, and painfully unforgettable. She first saw him during her shift at the small lakeside cafe in Maplebrook. He wasn't local. He looked like he carried the whole world in his backpack and 1,000 memories in his eyes. He ordered black coffee and blueberry pie, and when she asked where he was from, he smiled softly and said, "Everywhere." Somehow, that single word pulled her closer to him than she had ever expected. Branny kept returning to the cafe, sometimes for food, sometimes just to sit by the window with his camera and notebook. Anna noticed that he always lingered a little too long, as though Maplebrook had begun wrapping itself around him. One rainy evening, he walked her home under his umbrella, and they talked the whole way about dreams, fears, the places he'd traveled, and the places she longed to see. She was a girl afraid to leave home. He was a traveler afraid to stay in one place. And somehow, in that difference, they found each other. As the months passed, they became inseparable. Branny filled his camera with photos of Anna laughing, thinking, staring at sunsets by the lake. He told her she looked like she belonged in a painting. She told him he made Maplebrook feel bigger than just a small town. Anna fell in love slowly, silently, then entirely. One warm evening, surrounded by fireflies, she whispered for him to stay with her longer. Branny brushed a strand of hair behind her ear and promised he would. But promises can be fragile. When September arrived, Branny seemed to change. He drifted through days with quiet restlessness. His camera stayed in its case. His eyes wandered toward the horizon, toward roads waiting to be traveled. Anna felt the shift, the slipping of something she had been afraid to lose. Early one cold morning, she found him sitting alone on the dock, staring at the water with a distant look. She asked if she had done something wrong. Branny shook his head gently and said, "You did everything right." Then, with a trembling voice, he told her he wasn't made to stay in one place, and that the longer he stayed, the more he felt like he was losing himself. Anna's heart cracked at the edges. She wanted to beg him not to leave, to say that love should be enough to hold him there. But she knew that keeping him would cage him, and so she forced a painful smile and told him he should go if he needed to. The day he left Maplebrook, the sky was heavy with gray clouds. Anna stood at the bus station, arms wrapped tightly around herself. Branny hugged her one last time, his voice breaking as he whispered that she deserved someone who would stay, someone better than him. Her voice trembled as she asked him to take her with him. But he shook his head. "You know I can't," he whispered. And then he let her go. She watched the bus disappear down the long road until it became nothing but a memory fading into the distance. She collapsed on the cold pavement, her heart shattered into pieces too small to gather. For weeks, then months, she drifted through life like a ghost. She worked longer hours, avoided the lake, avoided anything that reminded her of the boy who had promised to stay just a little longer. But memories have a way of finding you. Every time she passed the dock, she felt his absence like a bruise. Every time she saw a camera, she remembered how he once looked at her like she was something worth capturing. Still, he never came back, not in fall, winter, or spring. Anna tried to convince herself she would heal eventually, but healing and forgetting were never the same thing. A full year passed before she heard from Branny again. One quiet summer morning, she found a letter in her mailbox, written in the handwriting she would have recognized anywhere. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside, Branny wrote that he had left Maplebrook thinking he was choosing freedom, only to realize he had walked away from the one person who ever made him feel alive. He missed her laugh, her stubbornness, the way she saw goodness in him even when he couldn't see it himself. But he also admitted he was still searching for who he was, still wandering, still unable to be the man she deserved. He wrote that he hoped she healed, that she found someone who stayed. And then he added one final line, a line that made her breath catch. "If one day the road brings me back to you, I hope you'll let me say all the things I should have said before." Anna pressed the letter to her chest as tears fell freely. She didn't know if he would ever return. She didn't know if her heart would ever stop aching for him. But she knew that some love stories don't end when two people walk away from each other. Some linger, quiet, painful, beautiful, long after the goodbye. Branny had taken a piece of her heart with him, to every place he traveled. And even though she tried to heal, a part of her knew she would always love him deeply, quietly, endlessly. A love that stayed, even when he couldn't.